Hello there, my name's Claire and this is Stitch Home. So thank you so much for joining me today for another video. Now today's video is all about everything that I made up in July and also my August sewing plans. Now I normally tend to do those as two separate videos, however my July plans went a little bit off piece, shall we say. I haven't necessarily made everything I was hoping to make in July, and so lots of those plans are going to be rolled forward to August. So I just thought it made sense this month that I would do sort of a combined video rather than two separate videos. So I hope you don't mind that. I hope you enjoy today's video, and let's get cracking on everything that I've sewn up this month. Now the first thing I'm going to talk about is what I'm wearing. I'm not necessarily going to be talking about things in the order that I've made them, but I thought I would crack on by telling you about this make. This is the Eve dress by Sew Over It that I've made in some gorgeous visco that I picked up from the lovely Crystal's D-Stash, my social thread, and I have, as I say, I've sewn it up in a viscose fabric. This is a gorgeous make. I'm really pleased with it. I'm going to pop a photo in. I've made it for a wedding that I was going to, and I think I'm really pleased with the result. I was quite anxious about sewing this one up. I've talked about that in my Friday sews. I think because I knew I was sewing up for a particular event rather than necessarily that I was worried about the fabric, you know, sewing up the pattern as such. So it's come together really nicely. I've spoken about in my recent Friday sews about the alterations that I made to the pattern, the couple of tweaks that I made. So if you want to check out that, I'll link that in the description notes below, and I'll try and pop a card in as well. But that one has come together really nicely. I also made a matching bag to go with that one, and this I made on the day of the wedding using a tutorial from the lovely Debbie Shaw. Now this was not one of my plans, because I whipped this up on the day of the wedding because I thought, oh no, I don't have a bag that's going to go with this dress. What am I going to do? And so I turned to the lovely Debbie Shaw's tutorials. They're super clear and concise and really easy to follow along with, and yes, I managed to sew that up very quickly on the day in the space of an hour of cutting and sewing in an hour. So I was really pleased with that one. Another thing I made in the month of July, which wasn't on my sewing plans, you can see there's a theme here, was a load of these, which are kind of key fob for some teacher gifts, and this was just a spare one I had left over. These come together super quick. They would make ideal stocking fillers if you're looking for something for Christmas, but also obviously, you know, an additional birthday gift or thank you gift or whatever, or just a whatever type of gift to somebody. And I picked up the key fob hardware from eBay. I just bought a pack of 10, but you can buy them in sort of larger quantities than that, and I probably will do that in the future. But I just wanted to, I didn't want to spend too much money on them until I sort of knew how they worked and how they came together. But what I did is I've just used a piece of fusible foam on the inside and sort of folded the fabric in on itself and done 2 rows of top stitching, and then I just used a pair of pliers to squeeze the 2 bits of the top together. Hey presto, super easy. So yeah, I sewed up about 6 of those, and they came together in really speedy amount of time. So yeah, if you're ever looking for a super quick little extra gift, I would highly recommend making one of those. Now the next item I made again wasn't on my July plans. See, I told you I went a little bit off piece, and it was this hat for my younger son. It's a bucket hat using the Sandcastle bucket hat pattern from Waves and Wild. It's a free pattern, and I've sewn this pattern a number of times now, so I was really pleased to sort of sew it up again, because obviously I kind of knew what I was doing. I still followed the instructions generally, but you know, it's nice when you've sewn a pattern before that it's not completely alien to you. They're great because you can they're reversible, so if one side gets a little bit dirty during the day, just turn it over. They pop in the wash, obviously super easy as well. I think I used a little bit of lightweight interfacing just to make the brim a little bit firmer, but not sort of too firm. I've literally used lightweight interfacing, and yes, this is such a lovely quick pattern to sew up once you've done a few. I think I found the first time I made it a little bit fiddly, but once you kind of got the got going on how to put this sort of brim bit in, there's a little bit of easing to get to putting the top section in, but once you've mastered that, or you're used to easing in fabric, you won't have a problem with that. Now the next pattern, you'll be pleased to know, really was on my plans video, so well done me for actually sticking to something. So, and it was the Ellie & Mac beach tote bag, which I made in this lovely polka dot fabric. This is a cotton poplin fabric that I bought in a bundle pack that I got from the lovely Felicity Fabrics when they do like a little sort of their remnant bundles, and then I've used some webbing fabric for the straps. You can also make that, there is a pattern piece if you want to make it out of the actual fabric, but I just decided to use webbing fabric. It's got a little zip pocket at the front, which is really nice, and I've popped a magnetic clasp on the inside, and then there's a sort of just sort of slip pocket on the inside, which I've just done a little bit of stitching through so that there's a smaller section for my phone and then a bigger section for anything else that I might want. Great big huge bag, you can fit absolutely loads in this, so sort of great for a day out with the kids, or I guess you could use it if you're going shopping or whatever you like. So yeah, really super pleased with this one. It's got a lovely sort of boxed bottom to it, and that's quite large, so as I say, you can fit quite a lot of stuff in there. So yeah, again, a free pattern, so super. And my other make for the month was the Sebetto top from Seamwork. Now this top gave me a little bit of problems. I spoke about this in one of my Friday sews video, and I had lots of comments about it, with other people saying that they'd equally found this top a little bit problematic. It is a free pattern, so you know you can't expect every free pattern to be spot on in terms of how it works out, but altogether it's come out okay. I'd actually cut out sleeves for this pattern, but when I came to sew it up, the sleeve head was down here, and it had like a little bit of a puff on it, a tiny sort of little bit of gathering at the top of the sleeve head, but it sort of started here, so that just looked weird. Plus the actual sleeve was really tight, which I don't normally have any major problems with, and the arm side, this arm side hole bit was quite tight as well. It just, I don't know, it was weirdly drafted, so I decided that I would omit the sleeves. Now I'm not a massive fan of no sleeves on myself, but for a hot summer's day, we've had some really hot weather in the last few weeks in the UK, actually working at home when nobody can really see me. It's been quite ideal, to be honest with you. And so what I did is I've just bias bound the armholes in the same way that I did the neckline, so that's worked out fine. I also, because I was finding the arm side a little bit tight, I took about 1 centimetre off all the way round, and obviously on both arms, just to make that feel a little bit more comfortable, and that's worked out quite well. I like this pleat detail at the front. That was one of the things that attracted me to the pattern, because I thought it made quite a simple sort of woven t-shirt a little bit more interesting, if you like. So I do like that. I've sort of top stitched round, but I haven't top stitched across this front bit, which I quite like, and I did the same on the bottom as well. I don't think that that's necessarily in the pattern like that, but that was just something I decided to do, and that's worked out quite nicely. It's not a pattern that I think I'll revisit, because I would prefer something with arms on, and I can't be bothered to faff around getting the arms to be right, to be honest with you. I think there's other patterns out there that I equally like. I do like the scoop on the neckline. I think it's a nice height. It's not too high, it's not too low. It's really quite ideal, and as I say, I do like this feature at the front, but it's not my most favourite make of ever. But I do, you know, it's not a fail, but it's not a win-win either. So I've had some fun makes this month, but they haven't necessarily been things that were on my plans. I had planned to make the Eve, so that was a tick, and that was the sort of the main make of the month that I wanted to do, and the bag was obviously a nice little addition to that, but it definitely wasn't on my plans. So moving forward for the month of August, I'm not setting myself too much to do, because I've got a really busy month ahead work wise. The kids are off school, but I do expect that towards the end of August I've got some annual leave, and obviously the kids will be around as well, but I might be able to sneak in a little bit more sewing than I've managed to do in recent times. So I'm just going to set myself a few plans. If I manage to get some other bits done during the month of August, then that would be fantastic. But I think last month, perhaps setting myself too much stuff just was a little bit overwhelming, and maybe just want to do other things. So I just thought I'd be a little bit more gentle on myself this month. Now, I spoke last month that I wanted to sew up a parka jacket for my husband. When we were watching the Sewing Bee, one of the weeks was where pattern challenge was to sew up a parka coat, and he said to me, "I'd like one of those, please." I don't know what came over me, because I decided that that was a really awesome idea. So stupidly, I rather impulse bought some fabric whilst we were watching the show, because I'd seen something I thought was very appropriate on the lovely Jenny Stitches Fabrics website the day before, and I was like, "Oh, I've seen something that could do for that," and he was like, you know, "Wonderful, let's do it, buy it." So I've got this lovely fabric. It's like a khaki green fabric. It's quite thin. I guess, I don't know, do you call it a wax cotton? I don't really know, but it's an ex Barber fabric, so it's really top quality, really lovely fabric, and it will make a nice kind of light autumn parka jacket rather than being a super heavy sort of winter jacket. So I really need to make a toile of this pattern. So I have bought some very, very inexpensive poly cotton fabric that's got a reasonable sort of weight. You know, it's not ridiculously thin. It's not as thick as that wax cotton, but it's not so different that I don't think that I can use it, if you see what I mean, because it's so different to the fabric that I'm looking to use for the actual coat. And so my hope is for this month is to try to make a toile of the coat, not necessarily putting all the zips and the you know, the fixings in the buttons, etc., but to try it for size, etc., and then see which version that I'm going to do. I think he'd like the longer version that's kind of got the V bit at the back. I'm going to pop a picture in, but I'm not quite sure whether I've got enough fabric, because when I bought the fabric there was only 3 meters left. In fact, I bought it in 2 1.5 meter sort of remnant pieces, so I'm not quite sure that I've got enough for the longer version. So I will try sewing it up in this very inexpensive poly cotton and have a go with that. I've bought pretty much all of the haberdashery items that I need for it as well, apart from I need 2 zips. That's the only thing I haven't bought. And I went back to Jenny Stitches for the pattern, and she also put sort of a pack together of the other bits and bobs that I was going to need. So I needed some twill tape for the seams, some cord for I think it goes around the middle or at the bottom, not quite sure. And instead of buttons, I decided to go for some poppers, and I've gone for kind of a copper colour because I think that will go really nicely with them. Now, I cannot praise Jenny from Jenny Stitches enough. I contacted her saying, I bought the fabric from you, I'd really like to, I know that you stock the pattern, I'd really like to buy the other bits from you. Could you let me know whether you sell everything? Because I know that she has got a few things like cord and stuff that aren't necessarily on a website. And she said, no problem, I can put you together kind of a pack if you like, and I'll send you how much it's going to be, and then you can let me know whether you want to buy it, etc. So I did that, and the only thing that she wasn't able to do was the zips. Not because she doesn't stock zips, it's just that if I was going to go for the long coat version, she didn't stock the longer zip. So it also has a zip to do the hood, is a detachable hood, so I could have got that zip, but obviously I wanted them to match. And having thought about it a little bit more, because I'm not completely sure which length coat I'm going to go for, I'm actually quite glad that I didn't buy the zip, because it might not necessarily be the right length. So I'm not planning on making the coat, the actual version this month, just the toile, and I think that just setting my expectations of myself a little bit lower might be a much better idea. Now the next pattern that I want to make is the Megan Nielsen Brumby skirt. Now I've been banging on about this pattern for months now. If you watch my channel, it was one of the patterns on my Make 9, and I've been talking about making it in various plans videos for several months. So I really hope that this month is the month. I've got the pattern now. I haven't printed it yet, but I've got the pattern, I've bought it, I've got the fabric, I've bought this sort of mid-toned denim blue colour chambray, which I think will make a really nice version. You can make this in sort of heavier fabric as well, so I think if I like the pattern I would probably make another one in a sort of a more wintry weight fabric as well, but I thought this would be really nice just to take me through the end of the summer into autumn. I think that would be really lovely. Now my next plan is to make a couple of t-shirts. The first t-shirt that I want to make is the Iris t-shirt from Forget Me Not Patterns, and I have got this gorgeous teal fabric that I picked up from Pound Fabrics, and it is a fabric that I've used previously to make a pearl cardigan from Tilly and the Buttons, which was a collab project that I did with the lovely Crystal from my social thread, and I really liked this this jersey fabric, cotton jersey fabric, and I really liked the colour, so I bought a bit more to make a t-shirt. I've got 2 meters, so I'm hoping that I might squeeze out 2 t-shirts. I'll just have to see how I get on, but the pattern that I'm looking to make up initially is the Iris t-shirt from Forget Me Not Patterns. I'm also looking to use this fabric. I've used this fabric for a different t-shirt previously, but I'm also looking to make a 12 version of the Galaxy t-shirt from Paper Scissors Cloth. Now if you followed my journey before with this particular pattern, you will know that I haven't had a huge amount of success. I don't really know why. The first version that I sewed up was way too big. The second version that I sewed up was too small, and I need to sew up one that is just right. I need to find my Goldilocks and the Three Bears version, if you like, of this t-shirt. And so I am going to attempt a third attempt, if you like, third time lucky, of that pattern. I'll pop a stock photo in of the Galaxy t-shirt. It's a sort of quite a basic t-shirt in lots of respect, but it's got a little puff detailed sleeve on it. I will probably lower the neckline slightly on it because I think that will make me feel a little bit more comfortable, but hopefully I can get the sizing right, so wish me luck on that one. I don't know why I keep struggling with it so much. Now the last thing that I'm looking to sew up, I'm super excited about because it's another collaboration project. This time it's with the lovely Rachel from the French Seams. If you haven't checked out her channel, please do go and check it out. She's absolutely lovely. She lives in Dublin. She's just a delight to watch. You know, when I mean, there's lots of lovely YouTubers out there, but there are just some YouTubers that you feel like, I don't know, I feel like I know her, even though I don't know her, obviously. She's just so lovely, just her personality sort of shines through on her videos, so please do check her out. We are of a very similar age. I think she's very slightly younger than me, actually. And we have got 2 children each. We've both got 2 boys. Her oldest boy, I think, is a similar age to my youngest, and we just, I don't know, we seem to have a very our life seemed to be quite parallel in terms of things that we like to sew up, etc. So I reached out to Rachel and asked her whether she would like to do a collaboration with me, and she was so kind. She said, oh, thank you so much, I'd love to. And so we've been in discussions for about a month or so, trying to work out what pattern that we were going to make. I think we both went down a bit of a rabbit hole in looking at patterns, etc., but we finally decided on a pattern. We come together and we had a conversation and a chat one evening, which was just lovely. You know, we obviously spoke about what we were planning to do, but we just had a lovely hour of sewing chit chat, which was just lovely. So the pattern that we are looking to sew up is the closet core, sorry, they changed their name, didn't they? Charlie Caftan. Now this is a pattern that I have had my eye on since I think I started sewing garments. I just think it looks gorgeous. I think it's really lovely. I think it'd be an ideal dress for the summer, and so I'm really looking forward to sewing it up. I think it will be really lovely. I also think though that if I style it right, then hopefully I can take it through into the you know, the autumn winter as well, with some tights and boots and things as well. So I'm hoping that will work as well. I haven't decided on what length that I'm going to be doing. There's 3 different style versions of there's like a shorter length, there's one that's kind of got a little bit more gathering, I think, and that's also a shorter length, and then there's a maxi length as well. So I'm not quite sure which version I'll be sewing up yet. I haven't quite decided. I don't know which version Rachel is planning to do either. That's a surprise, and we haven't shared our fabrics with each other as yet either. So when we both sort of release our videos, then we'll get to see which fabrics we're both going to be sewing up. So hopefully we haven't chosen the same ones. No, I'm sure we haven't. That would be very spooky, wouldn't it? Anyway, the fabric that I've chosen is this gorgeous viscose fabrics that I bought from Rainbow Fabrics, and I just love the design on there. Just this sort of ditzy design, but it's also got some strawberries on, which I just think is really gorgeous for summer. But because of the black background, I don't think it would look too out of place if you were wearing it in sort of the more wintry months as well. But I think it's really cute. I've seen lots of people buying this fabric and sewing this fabric up into lots of different things. So I'm really hoping this is going to make a gorgeous version of the Charlie Caftan. If you have got any hints and tips for us, please do leave them in the comments below. I love hearing from you in the comments. I try to respond to everybody as quickly as I possibly can. I really, really do appreciate it if you do comment. So I really hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, please do give me a like. If you haven't subscribed, I'd love it if you would consider doing so. If you've made any of the patterns that I've been talking about today, please do let me know. But until next time, take care. Happy sewing. Bye bye.